Our employment rate for seniors has in fact risen steadily over the years. We had raised the retirement age before. In 2012, we introduced reemployment after Japan started the practice. On reaching the current retirement age of 62, a worker must be offered annual reemployment by his employer up to 67, even though the job and salary may change. In practice, well over 90% of workers eligible for reemployment and who also wish to continue working are offered reemployment every year. Well over 90%. These policy changes over the years to retirement age and reemployment age have helped our seniors work longer. They have also helped our businesses tap a wider workforce. Compared to OECD countries, we now rank third for our employment rate for persons aged 65 and above. Some people, and even Associate Professor Daniel Goh, have called for the removal of the retirement age. But Labour MPs have not done so. Why is there a difference? When a company removes the retirement age from its HR policy manual, it is good news for its workers. It means the company gives a commitment. It will not retire any employee at any age, for as long as the employee wishes to continue working. That's what it is, at the company level. But if the retirement age is removed from the law, it is bad news. It means the employers no longer have any obligation to keep their workers up to any age. In other words, any employer can retire any worker at any age. Labour MPs have studied the law and understand this crucial difference. The statutory minimum retirement age of 62 is actually protection for the workers. Until 62, employers are not allowed to retire or, in other words, dismiss a worker on account of his age. This is why NTUC calls for the retirement age to be raised, not removed. This will give workers protection up to an older age. Besides considering the wishes of workers, we should also understand what employers want. One reason Singapore has been able to keep employment high and unemployment low is labour market flexibility. This flexibility ultimately benefits workers because it does not discourage employers from hiring them. This does not mean that we do away with rules completely. When rules are inadequate, workers' interests may be compromised. But when rules become too onerous, employment may suffer, which is also not in the workers' interests. The Singapore way is therefore always to strike a balance, to be pro-worker and pro-business in all that we do. On key issues which concern both workers and employers, we must build a tripartite consensus that is also sustainable for the future. This is why, in May last year, I formed a Tripartite Workgroup on older workers. Among other things, the work group has been reviewing the longer-term relevance of the retirement age and the reemployment age. In many countries, it has been very hard to move on these issues. Deep distrust and division prevents people from focusing on the future. They keep harping on the past. Why certain changes should not have been made, why it's now compromising us. So they're always still talking about what happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and they cannot get past that debate to move to the future. We must try and avoid that and do better. The work group therefore consulted widely. It heard the views of workers and unions. It has also been meeting with employers, particularly the Singapore National Employers Federation, SNEF. It tries to balance views from both sides. It must also consider what is right for our country. At many times in the process, there were differences. The key question was, should we only raise the re-employment age beyond 67, but not the retirement age beyond 62? The answer was, in the beginning, not at all clear. Recently, the work group updated me on their thinking. They provided the same update to NTUC SecGen, Brother Ng Chee Meng, and SNEF President, Brother Dr. Robert Yap. All three of us are advisors to the work group. The work group needs a few more months before putting up their detailed recommendations. But we have a clear tripartite consensus. I'm glad that the work group believes we should raise both the retirement age and the re-employment age. Both the retirement age and the re-employment age. I agree with the work group, and I will try my best to make it happen. Let me now share their three-point agreement, which explains why. First, the retirement age remains relevant and should go up beyond 62. This is because our people enjoy more years of good health and remain productive at work well into their 60s. A higher retirement age will motivate both workers and employers to invest in skills upgrading and job redesign for their older workers. Second, the re-employment age remains useful and should also go up beyond 67. Although most workers who are eligible get re-employed in the same job and at the same pay, the flexibility to reset jobs and terms help employers cope with business uncertainties. Employers are more willing to employ older workers because of it. Third, the increases in retirement age and re-employment age should be implemented in small steps over time. This is because employers will need to make considerable adjustments. They must plan ahead and step up efforts to make workplaces more age-friendly.